All right, 3 p.m. on the dot. Let's get today's home buyer boot camp started. Your best friend in real estate, Scott Patrick Beatty. For all your real estate referral needs, shoot them my way, baby. If I don't even live in your state or your country, I know somebody who does real estate at a high enough level to refer you to. Help me out. Help me by helping you. Anyway, so welcome to today's home buyer boot camp. This is something that we do every single Friday at 3 p.m. on the dot. And let's get to it. Let's get to it. All right, so we're going to go over what we're going to go over. So we're going to go over the start process, the pre-approval process where you're speaking with a Georgia certified lender, Georgia certified, but a Georgia specific lender. If you're in Georgia, a state specific lender. No matter where you are, you want to make sure that who you're working with, as far as the people that are giving you money, are in the same area as you are. They know the deal, they know the market, they're in the same time zone, and preferably somebody that your agent or another agent, someone who's worked with at a high enough level so that they know that the deal is going to get done. All right. And then you're going to have the next step. You are going to speak with a real estate sales professional such as myself. Get a consult, hire a professional. Then you actually have the consult, and then you go to the actual preview of the property. All right. And then you'll make your offers. Then you'll negotiate those offers. Then you'll finalize the financing, and then you close the deal, and then you move into your property. And that is the timeline of the home buying process. And everything that we cover here is going to be, quickly done. So if you ever have any questions, you can reach out to me at 225-603-3837. You can comment, slide into my DMs, email me at beattyacquisitions@gmail.com, and I can go into everything a little bit further. This is just basically a quick boot camp to help get people's mind in the right spot. All right, so there's a few cash investments that you need to make throughout the home buying process. It's not just the loan down payment if you're getting it processed. All right, so you have the loan down payment. All right, and let me say this. In the home buying process, you need to make sure you have about 10 to 12% of the actual offer price or the closing price of the property to make sure that you have enough money to go throughout the process, because you have the down payment, which is typically 3%. Some people pay less, some people pay 0, some people pay more, but on average, it's usually 3%. You have the earnest money, which is another 1% of the offer price. You have the inspection fees, which is typically, I usually say $600-700, just depends on who you use. Don't cheap out for the home inspections. We use Alpha Inspections. My man Kyle Phillips in Georgia, he is a pro, he's a vet. But you want to make sure that your inspector is Georgia certified. They're not just out there just turning on lights to see if they work. They're actually checking to make sure that the property is healthy. We can get into that later, but having about $600-700 prepared for it. Appraisal fees. Now, this is all stuff that you're going to have to come as the buyer out of your pocket with. Appraisal fees is basically the bank has their people come and make sure the house is worth what it is. So that's typically around $600 too. And then you have closing costs, which typically is the word of the day. So typically 4% of the accepted offer price. And that's not like realtor fees or anything like that. That's just the cost of doing business. That's just like the end of the transaction payments that you have to make for attorney fees. We'll get into all of that stuff, but just make sure you have about 10 to 12% of cash saved up for the process. All right, so the home buying process. Let's see, are we hiding anything? Let's put this up here. Apply for your mortgage pre-approval. This is where you actually get with the lender. The lender will help you determine exactly what you can afford, and knowing what you can afford decides what house you look in. Right? When you're talking to the lender, it's not like, well, I think $400,000 or $200,000 or $60,000 is good for me. You want to actually make sure you're getting with them and you're telling them what you can afford monthly. Doesn't matter like what not in the game sounds good, but it's what you can afford a month, what you can afford a month, what you can pay for not just, the mortgage, but everything else in your life. All right, so speak with them. Make sure you get with somebody good. We have a lot of people. We have Linda with Shelter Mortgage. We have Chad with Cornerstone Mortgage. We have so many people that we work with at a high level that we can refer you to people that'll be your friend by the end of the transaction. That's what the whole goal is. You want to work with people that you know, like, and trust. And that's what we do. All of our preferred people, whenever we say preferred, it's not like we're getting a kickback. We don't get a kickback. We barely get hugs and kisses from these people. However, we know that we can safely get from point A to point B without any hiccups when we work with these people. And that's why I suggest the people that I work with is because they're pros. Linda's a beast. Chad is a bad mother. Shut your mouth. So, get educated with how much money you have, you can spend on a property. Not knowing how much you can spend on the property is like going into a grocery store and not knowing if you have any money in your bank account. We don't want to find out at the cash register that you can't afford your groceries. We don't want to find out at the closing table that you couldn't afford this property to begin with. And we filter all that out. It's not like everybody else is just foolish in this transaction, but getting your money together is the most important step. Outside of deciding to buy. But, do you have the money? Can you afford it? Don't be house broke. I mean, I'll help anybody buy a house. It doesn't matter if you're going to be house broke or you're just buying your third property. I'll help anybody. I'll make sure you get from point A to point B, which leads me to my next. Hire the right real estate advisor. Actually, hire one that works for you. I'm not, I know that I'm not everybody's perfect match, and it's employment. We're employing each other as far as I'm concerned. I'm working for you. You're working for me. I know that doesn't really make sense, but I can tell you I don't want to work with you. No one's worried about doing business with anybody that doesn't want to do business with them. And that's how I feel about it. So you make sure that you hire somebody that you know, you like, you trust. And if everything's the same, whenever I say this, if everything's the same, if all agents give you 100% of the best service, which for the most part, everybody should be out there doing, but there's a lot of bad apples out there. But you want to make sure that they're educated, but you want to make sure that you're working with somebody that you want to work with. This is a few month transaction, a deal. A lot of the people I work with, at the end of it, they say, what do we do now? We've become friends. It's like we're throwing you a housewarming party for one, and then I'm going to call you every 90 days to check on you. But you want to make sure that you're working with somebody that you can actually work with for 2 months, 2 to 3 months. All right, so you find an agent you feel comfortable working with that is honest and wants the best for you and your family. It's me, baby. Interview several. So, you don't want to just pick the first one. And I know that a majority of the people do end up picking the first agent that they end up hiring because everybody is all Christmas rainbows and butterflies when you first meet. And so whenever the shit hits the fan, that you really get to see people's true colors. And that's like why 50% of people don't work with the last agent they worked with. Not all agents are created equal. Not all agents are educated the same. You need to find an agent that can negotiate like a shark. Not just a friend of the family either. You're not just giving your nephew a job just because you feel bad for him. You want to make sure that you're saving and you're saving enough. You're saving enough money. You're saving the most amount of money. You're getting the least amount of headaches, and you're getting escorted, concierged from point A to point B with little hiccups, little stress, and making sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. This is the largest investment that a lot of people are going to be making in their life, and the biggest they'll make in their lifetime. And, you really deserve the best. So hire the best. All right, what is this one? The consult. Ooh, the face-to-face or the video interaction. This is basically, I won't read all of this to you, but we have a dream home form. Dream home form. It's a questionnaire where we filter through the results. We ask you about beds, baths, all the things. Do you want a pool? Do you want this? Do you want this? We go through must-haves. We go through preferables. We go through deal breakers. Do you want this? Do you want a pool? Do you want a hot tub? Do you want 3 stories, 1 story, master room and main? You want a ballin' ass kitchen? You want a pimped out master bathroom? You want something built in a historic area? Let us know. Areas, prices, all this mess. We go through all the MLS out of the thousands and thousands of properties, and we basically pull the ones that you said that you would like. So there's no real guesswork, or not guesswork, but there's no real like we find everything for you. There's nothing hidden unless there's an off-market deal. I typically suggest people coming up with a list of 4 to 5 properties before we go see them. That way we're not going to go see the one and dones, and we're not just wasting the seller's time, the agent's time, my time, your time, everybody's time. If you have a list of over 5, 7, 10 properties, I would suggest going through on all properties. Actually, let me go back. On every single property that you want to go see, I want you to, before you go with an agent, go drive by that area. Go check the schools if you have children. Go check the community. If you like shopping at Target, Walmart, Circle K, Kmart, or you a Whole Foods person, Circle K is a gas station. But go check the community. You're not just buying the property, you're buying your neighbors' yards, the cars in the streets. The way that people pull out of their neighborhood is easy to get out of. Some people make a $500,000 purchase and they don't even think that they have to spend like an hour getting out of their subdivision every single day. That'd be terrible. But that's something that I look for. How close do you want to be to an interstate? This is the consult. This is where we ask you the same question over and over and over and over again. Not that many overs, but we make sure that you are legit purchasing your dream home. There's no perfect home, but we get close to it. Even people that buy new build properties have something that they would change, and they were doing it the entire time. They were Subway sandwich ordering their property as it was going along. And they even have something that they would change at the end of the process that they would do. So always keep that in mind. There's no perfect property. We'll get close as possible. All right, so whenever it comes down to actually making offers on the property, this is one of the part that I get most excited about. As a professional, we have the market knowledge, we pull the market data, we look at days on market, we run comparables and make sure that your offer gets considered. Our job is to save you money and make sure that you have as little headaches as possible. I want you to expect negotiations if you're not submitting a full price offer. Always expect that, because if I was representing the seller, if they're not giving us the full $500,000 that we are asking, we're going to counter back. So always consider and really, I wouldn't even get into a deal if you're in the mindset of I want to undercut every single property's price. So homes right now are selling for higher than 97% of what the actual list price is. So you have to kind of consider that whenever you're actually putting an offer in. All right, and then also be prepared to put that 1% earnest money down as a show of good faith. That just lets the seller know that you're entertaining the actual, that you're serious. You're putting your money where your mouth is. And this earnest money, that 1%, actually is applied to the full price, the offer price. So you're not losing it unless you back out after due diligence, which we get into on the next slide. But this is just, you're just showing a show of good faith. All right. So now we get to the due diligence, aka the inspection and appraisal process, and this is always negotiated. This is something that, as the buyer, you kind of have the say-so of how many days it is. However, if it's unrealistic, if it's too short, if it's too long, expect that the seller to have an issue with it and counter back with it. But due diligence, it's typically 7 to 10 days after the contract is accepted from the selling side. And it is where the buyer, you, the buyer, go in, you get an inspector, you get the appraisal done, you make sure the inspector makes sure that the property is healthy and there's not something that, hidden. And then the appraisal makes sure that the property is actually worth what we're saying the property is worth, or what the seller said the property is worth. Let's see, due diligence for you, the buyer can, within due diligence, you can back out for whatever reason at any point in time. You don't like the way the inspection report comes back, you can back out. You don't like the way that the appraisal comes back, you can back out. You don't like the color of the sky on Monday, you can back out within that due diligence time frame. I don't ever just suggest getting into a deal just with the intention of possibly backing out. I'm just saying if something comes up, this is your time frame to back out of the deal without losing your earnest money. So I always suggest about 10 days. 10 days is good because we have to line everything up. We have to get the inspector coming in. And again, I work with some of the greatest people in the business, especially in our area. Inspector, we're going to be using, for lenders, I'll use Shelter Mortgage or Cornerstone Mortgage. For inspectors, I use Alpha Inspections. That's my man, Kyle. After due diligence, you, the buyer, should back out. If you, the buyer, should back out for whatever reason, you risk the risk of losing your earnest money. All right. So after the inspection period, everything checks out. You're all good. Money's. We need to make sure that the mortgage gets the final approval. So there's still a lot of paperwork you as the buyer have to do during the process of this. So you're submitting all this information to your lender. Once the offer to purchase is accepted, you'll work with your lender to get the final approval of your property. A word from our lender. We actually have, I actually have a full YouTube section playlist of me talking to Chad Wade of Cornerstone Mortgage. I'd love nothing more for you to go find that. You can probably check the link below. I have one of the links that I'll set you there, but it's about 10 different videos that help educate you on what to expect from the lending side of it. What next? All right, reach out for lender videos. All right, so attend the closing. So once everything that we covered are completed, we get everything all said and done, all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, you'll be on your way to the closing table. This is when the deed to the home is transferred from the seller to the buyer. Every transaction varies, but plan to sign some paperwork. We're usually there for about an hour and a half. An attorney will guide you through the process. Go over all the legal aspects of it. And again, we work with attorneys, a lot of them in the area. I worked with a new one yesterday. My man Brock took care of us. So, I mean, we're all dealing with professionals here. I would go with somebody that was referred to you. However, in certain situations, whenever the seller has multiple offers, you usually go with, what's your preferred closing attorney? So we'll close with whoever they suggest, and that's how that happened. But that's for another time. Then the house, after everything's done, the house will be officially yours. You have the keys. Congratulations, you're a homeowner. Yay! All right. And that is the end. So this was a very quick run through boot camp of it. Like I said, if you have any questions, please reach out. My name is Scott Patrick Beatty. I want to be your friend in real estate. I want to be the only person you talk to about real estate, trends, market analysis, deals. If you have a deal that you want me to go over, if you are a buyer and you just have some questions or you're on the fence about having questions, 225-603-3837, or you can email me at Beatty Acquisitions. All my information is going to be below. Done, boy. Look at that boy. All the information is going to be below, so just reach out however you want to find me. You can find me. I'm here for you. And then tune in next week. We're probably going to start breaking up these boot camps into sections where I get a little bit deeper into everything. We're figuring it out. This is like the third time we've done this thing. So tune in next Thursday, or follow me on YouTube and subscribe. Have a great